The Green Team, Teen Trillionaires, number 6, written by Art Baltazar and Franco, art by Iguara and Rodney Buscemi. So, last issue, the Green Team went up onto a meteor because there's a rich guy who was doing evil things up there who's kind of involved in the whole plot that happened before this. And then they ran into Icicle, who seemingly destroyed their ship and then killed a member of the Green Team, JP. We open up and JP is without a helmet, kind of just floating off into space. He's like, well, guess this is it. I'm going to die. Hope he takes care of Cecilia. And then he sees a packet of air gel, which is apparently a breathable liquid. And he's like, oh, okay, well, I'll use this and it'll let me live for a few more minutes before I then suffocate out in space. So, cool. So then we see Cecilia, she's in her suit now. She's fully powered up and she's like, hey, my arm's back and I can fly. So she goes up, she grabs JP, and he's now safe. We go back to the Commodore, who's still frozen by Icicle, and just like, all right, well, now that I killed all your friends, because we think that he did, we're going to go back to base camp, and then they're going to figure out what to do to take care of you there. And Commodore's like, you do understand I could pay you like triple whatever you're being paid, but I have a feeling that that wouldn't matter to you. And Icicle's like, yeah, no. Belichick, the evil guy, is the one who gave me like a second chance at life. I owe it all to him. So we see back at base camp, Cecilia has brought JP there, and there's just two scientists outside with like the same kind of suits. And he's just like, oh, hurry, you have to help him. He's running out of air. And she's like, what? Who are you? How'd you even get on this meteor? And she's like, does it matter? This kid's running out of air. So the guy runs over, grabs one of the disc things, and Letitia is telling Paul, like, hey, that's only for emergencies. And Paul's like, yeah, it's an emergency. This kid's going to die. So they slap the disc on him, and we then see Icicle come to, and he just causes a huge ice fissure in the middle of the meteor, about to attack Letitia and Paul. And Paul looks over, he's like, what are you doing? And he's like, don't act surprised. I mean, why did you think I was brought up here? I'm not a scientist type. Why am I up here on this meteor if not to take care of problems like this? And I think it's Letitia's like, well, we all thought you were boinking Belichick. And he's like, yeah, see, this girl gets it. So at that point, Icicle stabs Paul through the chest with a bunch of icicles. Letitia freaks out, and he's just like, oh, please, you hated him just as much as I did. He's a prick. Screw Paul. So at that point, JP, he's now got his own suit, and he's like, all right, Icicle, time for round 2. And he goes to shoot something, but it turns out this suit is just basic functionary. It's not weapons-based or anything. It's just to keep him alive. So Cecilia has to step in being like, I got full power. You guys step back. So she starts blasting. Icicle puts up shields to defend. So Commodore behind him ends up throwing a few like spikes into his body. And at that point, he freaks out and he's like, all right, screw this. I'm now pissed off. So he starts launching a full attack. JP comes up, gets to the Commodore being like, hey, man, we gotta go. Like, regardless of what he knows, he ain't giving it up. And, like, we've got problems. We've got, like, normal people here who we need to defend. So at that point, JP makes the call, even though Commodore's not doing it. Like, everyone, make a break to the shuttle. We're going back home. Cecilia's laying down cover fire, and everyone's super impressed with how just brutal she is. Icicle launches a counterattack, which ends up shredding some of the armor off of Cecilia's hands, and it reveals like, oh, wait a minute, that's actual flesh. That's like real skin. It's not a robot arm. I have my real arm back. That's great. Fantastic. So at that point, I'm not entirely sure what happens on this page, but for some reason, the meteor just straight up splits in half. And we see Cecilia and all them are managing to get their way like onto one of the halves of a meteor. Icicle's on the other one, so he's no longer a problem. But as they get down onto the meteor, JP is so happy to see Cecilia, they break character and kiss in front of Commodore. And Commodore sees this and like all the other speech bubbles just go white. It's like that scene from like when a bomb goes off and you just hear the ringing in the ears. It's like that happens. And when the ringing ends and it comes back, it turns out it's LL is basically saying like, hey, Commodore, we're on a meteor that's hurtling towards Earth with no way of like really controlling it. What do we do? And it's like, okay. And Commodore's just not responding until eventually Cecilia's like, honey, are you okay? And he's like, don't you call me honey. You two just want to survive so you can keep making out behind my back. You know what? Let me concentrate. How about that? And so Somehow he's steering the comet, the meteor itself, as it's approaching Earth. So they managed to get past uh, the re-entry. They didn't burn up on re-entry, but it's still like, okay, well, Earth is 2/3 water. Odds are we'll hit an ocean somewhere. And as they come through the cloud cover, they see like they are about to land in downtown Chicago. And it's like, yeah, great, awesome, yeah, it just had to be that. So somehow, again, barely explained, the Commodore is steering this giant rock into a open street in Chicago, like into I think that's the East River or whatever, and like rides it right up into a building. And he's like, there, another happy landing. And out from the building steps a man in super gaudy gear, and it turns out it's Mr. Belichick. It's the guy who was running all the meteor stuff up there to begin with. And he's like, hey, Commodore, you brought my stuff to me. Great, thank you. I hope you're going to pay for the damage to the city, though. And he's just like, hey, you're the one who caused it. And everyone's looking around. It's just like, Commodore, did you drive a meteor right up to this guy's front door? Like, what are you doing, man? And he's like, you're the one who caused all this. You've been messing with the suits. And my dad had something to do with you. This is all coming back to you, Belichick. You got to admit to it. Belichick's like, yeah, of course it was me. Yes, I was the one to do that. I am a rich person. I do these things because I'm evil like that. And he's just like, you've been messing with people's lives. For what? For money. And Belichick's like, dude, you're a trillionaire. You don't pretend like this isn't like all about the money to you as well. What in the hell are you talking about? And he's like, oh, well, it's not about the money to me. Now I'm going to show you a lesson. And he starts like weaponing up towards Belichick. And Belichick's already got snipers trained all over him. And he's just like, oh, you think you could do something to me? All right, well, too bad. And he gives the order to fire. Cecilia jumps in the way of the fire on Commodore, takes all the shots, seemingly is dead. However, specifically her suit is like all broken up. It doesn't actually show her body. So doubting that. But JP sees this, he starts freaking out, and then through his suit, as Belichick was expecting for some reason, he becomes like a werebeast. He's like a giant Sasquatch looking thing, and he busts out of the suit. And it says, next time, what? Which, yeah, that's fair. That was about my reaction as well. Fine issue. I mean, here's the thing about the Green Team book is that I've never really been clear as to what the point of it is besides just let's show off a bunch of gadgets. But it seems to me like now they focused more on this idea of the origin of how each of these people got like powers. So obviously Commodore's got the suit. Cecilia has like some weird cyborg stuff going on because she's got a robot arm, maybe. And now JP's got this Sasquatch power set. Okay, I see the direction you're moving in, and I'm approving. I think that it's a fine direction. You only have 2 more issues, though, so I want to see how you're going to wrap this up, because this is a big step here of you just gave someone Sasquatch powers and also maybe killed someone. So, I don't know. I'm into it, but I'm just not sure where it's going. As for this issue, it was fine. I liked how they were just dunking on Paul the whole time. That was funny. Like, he did nothing wrong in this whole book, but it's just like, nah, screw him. He was the worst. Overall, I'm going to give this one flat 7. I do enjoy it. I think the art was fine. It's just a bit of a weird book. If you just care about the origin stuff and don't care about whatever the hell the villain's doing, it's a much better book, because honestly, the villain's motivation stuff is just way too deep and complex for where it really shouldn't be. But yeah, 7.